Honestly, this topic is boring. It doesn't matter what anyone tells you. Tuning the guitar is not interesting or exciting. And I'm kicking off my entire beginner's guitar video series with tuning the guitar. But it is necessary. And you don't want to get to video 99 and be mastering all these techniques and realize you're a great guitarist, but it sounds like this. Because you don't know how to tune your guitar. So today, regretfully, we're going to learn to tune the guitar. Okay, there are two ways to tune the guitar. One is with an electronic device, like one of these, that is a tuner that will do it for you. Well, you have to use it, but it makes it a whole lot easier. Second is with your ear. So we're going to learn both ways today. Now, first thing I want to say about the electronic tuners, also software plugins, whatever, a device that basically helps you tune the guitar. They are not a cop-out. The pros do not go and tune their guitar by ear. You go and see some of the biggest acts in the world, their guitarist is not tuning his guitar or her guitar by ear. These are essential. Get one. Doesn't really matter if it's cheap or expensive. They're essential. Learn to tune your guitar really quickly and really well by using one of these, and you'll be just like the pros because that's what they're doing. We are also, though, going to learn today to tune the guitar by ear. Why would you do that? It never hurts in music to train your ears to hear the difference between notes. Never hurts at all. There's also, look, I have done gigs where I've forgotten to take a tuner. So I've leant over to the piano player and said, can you please give me an E? Got an E and tuned the guitar from ear after that. It can happen. You might be at a gig and forgot your tuner. You might be at a friend's place who has a guitar and says, let's sing some songs, and you didn't bring your tuner and they don't know how to tune it. So it never hurts to be able to use your ears as well. But buy one of these. Okay, we are going to cover both methods now, starting with the electronic tuner. All right, I've positioned one of my electronic tuners up here. This one's actually a foot pedal, so yeah, very handy for live gigs. It cuts the sound out to the amp when you click it on, so you can quickly tune if you're doing a gig, and then kick it off and the sound comes back out through the amp. Tuners come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so I'm going to explain to you how they work, but the chances are whatever one you've got there is different to mine. I'm going to display two of mine and show you what they're all about, but conceptually they should work exactly the same, and it probably comes with an instruction manual anyway, the one that you've got. So first of all, you need to know the names of the open strings so you know what you're tuning to. I'm only going to cover tuning to standard tuning here, because if you want to tune the guitar down to E flat or drop D tuning, all that sort of thing, maybe that's covered in a later video. But at this point, if you're learning to tune the guitar, you're most likely just learning to play in standard tuning and not getting too funky with all of the potential other tunes you could do. So you need to know the names of the strings. From the top, being the thickest string down, they are E, A, D, G, B, E. And again, E, A, D, G, B, E. Now at this point there's always the thing of give you some clever nursery rhyme or whatever to learn the strings, but I mean really it's not that hard to learn E, A, D, G, B, E. Every animal deserves good berries. I don't know. There was one I came up with for people of a certain generation. Eddie and Dave, greatest band ever. You could, if you know, you know with that one. But just learn from the top down, E, A, D, G, B, E. That's what you're tuning to. So all tuners will do this kind of thing. I'm going to hit the top E here. First thing it will do is tell me what note I'm trying to hit. If that says D or E flat or C sharp or C or something like that, then you've got to turn it up until it gets to E. If it says F, F sharp, what have you, you've got to lower it down until it gets to E. You've got to be in the ballpark of the note like that. Where you will need to use your ear, and we'll look at this in the next section, is if you can't quite tell whether you should go higher or lower, and you start turning F sharp all the way up to the next octave of E, or something like that. You'll need to use your ear for that. And at first, honestly, you might need to get someone who knows how to play guitar in a music shop or whatever to just tune you once so your guitar is sitting in the ballpark and you haven't got an E that's like, you know, half an octave too high or something like that. So you're in the ballpark. Anyway, so we hit an E. Now, see that little green one that came on temporarily? There it is. That little green light tells you, hey, that's the note, that's the tuning, that's where you want to be. So what happens is, if it falls to the left of that green note and it's red, in this case, there are other displays as well, but they'll all have a way of telling you, that's the note, that's the one you want. If it falls to the left, that means you're a bit flat. So I'll tune it down even a little bit more. You'll see here the green doesn't even come on. That's telling me, ugh, that's how flat you are. Start turning it up, and I'll hit it so you can see as I turn it up, tighten it, it gets closer and closer to the green. And then at some point, yes, yes, that's green, that's green. Okay, you will never get it perfect. It will never sit on the green and stay there for a minute. Guitars just aren't built that way. Near enough is good enough with tuning. So if you go like this, and then it hits the green and then it wavers off, I might tighten that slightly, see if I can get it to hang on the green a little bit longer. That time it went a little bit sharp, a little bit over, but that I would call in tune. It's floating around the green first up and then it, you know, wavers after that. Now, if it was too sharp, see this? Now I'm tightening the string too far. Now it's on the right side of the green. It's saying, hey, 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 that's too far, that's too sharp. Start to loosen the string till you get back to the green, like that. That's it. And when it's around there like that, that's pretty much an in-tune E. Now all that happens now is you go the next note, the A, and it should be telling you, hey, that's around about an A, but not quite. If it's a different note, then once again, you've got a bit of tightening or loosening to do to get it in the ballpark of the A. But once again, in this case, I'll tighten it until it gets around the green. And that's pretty much right. If I went too far, if it was sharp, you could see this. Just loosen it. Like that. Round about there. That's an A in tune. So I won't, you get the idea, I won't take you through every string, but I'll quickly tune them. So there's a D. Looks pretty close, really. Yep, I'll leave that. G, I'll bit flat. Let's see, get up to the G, there we go. That's about right. B, it's already pretty good. Tighten it slightly, see if I can get it to sit on the green a little bit more. And then E, that's flat, so let's tighten that. There we go, that's about right. So now if I strum an E chord, that sounds, not sure if you can hear that through the mic, but that's pretty much now in tune. One thing to look out for is watch as I lower the E down. See how it's become D sharp? Some tuners will tell you, oh, that's E flat. Look for the little flat symbol. You might be tuning to E flat when you're supposed to be tuning to E. Mine says D sharp, so it's pretty hard to miss, but if I bring it back up then to E, so watch, check it doesn't say E flat or A flat or D flat. Look for that little flat symbol. Make sure you're tuning to E, A, and D. Okay. That's one type of tuner. I'm now going to cross and quickly show you my other type of tuner in case it looks a little bit more like yours. Okay, I've got my other tuner up here. So you can see this might be more like the one you have at home. But you can see there's a 0 in the middle and a green light above it that's going to come on when you've got the note pretty much right. And then there's a red light for flat, which is nice. It's got a flat written next to it and a sharp written next to it on the other one. So I can tell you if you're flat or you're sharp, and it can tell you to turn it, therefore you turn it up or down to get to the green light. Important thing to note, see how it's got 440 hertz? Make sure it says that. If you have it on something different, you'll be tuning the guitar to a different tuning rather than standard tuning. So let's give me a second here. This seems to be straying the camera. I don't know what I've done here wrong, but the camera seems to be straying. Anyway, let's try this. So I'll go for the top E. That's telling me it's, well, it's roughly kind of right, so I'll turn it down a bit. See how that's flat? Turn it up, turn it up. There you go. That's pretty much it. You hit it, it kind of goes green. It might wander a bit, but it's pretty much green. A, same thing. And if I made it sharp, see that? No, too far. Bring it back down like this. And it's green. So happy days. That's basically the same thing as I was doing a minute ago, only it's a different type of tuner. Notice this one has a microphone. If you don't have a plug-in acoustic guitar, you need to actually play it into the microphone of the tuner, but it works the same way. So you might find that you need to press it up against the body to get the note to really come out if there's a lot of noise around you in the room that's distracting it. But it's the same thing. You don't plug it in, you just push it up against the body, hit the note, and you'll get the same result in the end. So that's what the microphone is there is for. If you're buying a tuner and you have an acoustic guitar and it is not one that can be plugged into an amp, you can't put a lead in it, then make sure you get one with a microphone like this. Otherwise, you won't have much luck tuning it. Okay, I'll cross back now for the next bit, which is tuning by ear. Things get a little bit trickier now, but like I said, this is good practice for your ear training in general, and it's if necessary, you do this in the absence of a tuner. So it shouldn't be holding back your other learning to play, because you've got your tuner to tune to, and so you should be going with that. But let's learn to tune by ear. Okay, so you've turned up to a gig or somewhere, you've forgotten your tuner and your guitar needs to be in tune. First of all, what you need is a note from somewhere outside the guitar to give you a starting point. So say we had E here, and let's make it a bit flat like that so it's out of tune. We need a note from somewhere. So piano player or something. I've got an acoustic guitar here, so I'm going to use that. If you want to practice this, Fender have on their site a page for tuning the guitar where you can actually hear the notes individually, so you can practice with that. But say we turned up to the gig and we said to the acoustic guitarist, give me an E, and he does, and ours just sounds not good against it. Okay, when it's sounding not good, you need to know one thing. Do I need to tighten it or do I need to loosen it? Or in other words, sharpen the note or flatten the note. Do you remember the movie Jaws? And if you're young and you've never seen Jaws, maybe see it, or at least look up the soundtrack on Spotify or something like that, because it's very well-known music that goes like this. And speeds up like that. What you're dealing with there are two notes a semitone apart. It is fantastic for training your ear, because when you hear Jaws, you are going from the lower note up a semitone to the next note. So you're hearing this. That's one note sharpened to the next note. If you hear the opposite, That means you're going from a note down a semitone, down, and you're flattening it like that. Why do you need to know that? Well, when you're pitching two notes against each other like this, you need to know which one is lower and which one's higher. So if I know this is in tune, and I can hear this is below it, I can hear that I need to tighten the string, raise it up. So have a listen. Do you hear Jaws playing this one first or this one first? That sounds like Jaws. Let's do it the other way. That doesn't. Okay, what that means is this note, this string is lower in pitch than this one here. So what that means is we know this is in tune, so we have to raise this one up until we hear it in pitch with this. Now I'm going to hit the note and then do that. Have a listen and see if you can spot when it gets in tune. Hear all that wavering goes away? So the notes stop going woo 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 like that, and they sit kind of like a nice tranquil body of water. I don't know. Let me flatten that again, see if you can hear it again. Here's the Jaws. All the woo 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 goes away. And they sound nicely at ease with each other. That's when you know you've got it in tune. Now, a few things. Let's try sharpening it. So say this note is too sharp. So we go. Now this is very subtle because it's only slightly too sharp. Which way do you hear Jaws? Is it this one first? Or is it this one first? It's very subtle, but you can hear I'm getting it from hitting this one first, which means this is too sharp. So once again, let's lower it until we feel the tranquil, I don't know what I'm trying to come up with here, a tranquil stream where the two of them just exist right next to each other without the woo 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 sound like that. Okay, now the problem you might encounter here is Jaws happens when a note is out by a semitone. You get the dirt. You're going to have to listen for variations in it. So say this was really out. Like this. You can't really hear Jaws because this one's way too low for this one. The solution for that really is just getting experienced at guitar and starting to hear more and more. So every time you tune your guitar with your tuner, have a guess before you look at the tuner. Say, is that too low or is that too high? Start to train your ear to detect if a note is flat or sharp. So you'll hear, so I can just hear that going from this one to this one sounds like going up. That sounds like doom, 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 doom. That's going down, which means this is flat and it's lower pitched than this one. So turn it up until we hear Jaws. Somewhere around there we've got Jaws, which we know means we're heading in the right direction. So there it is, the tranquil stream. So now you've got one note in tune. Now, options. You can keep going and do the same thing. The A string. So hear that? All the whoop, whoop, whoop goes away and it's just like that. Okay, you can keep doing that. Or once you know you've got a string in tune here, you can tune the other strings off it. How do you do that? Well, let's do it. There's a few ways, but let's do it this way. I'll lower the A string down again so it's flat. Okay, the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the note on the 5th fret, or on most guitars, the second dot there, is equal to the open string below it. So the 5th fret of the top E string will be the same note as the open A string. Now it should be if it was in tune. So let's hit that. I can hear jaws there, but I'm doing it in the wrong direction, so let's do it this way. There it is. We know this top one's in tune, so this second one can even reach over it. Do it this way. There it is, the tranquil stream. Like that. Now we know we've got 2 in tune. Go down now, the 5th fret of the A string will be the same as the open D string. So it's a D note. Either one is a D note. It's kind of already in tune, so let's sharpen this one for fun. So now when we play this and the open D, you get jaws going that way with the 5th fret first and then the open string, which means the open string is too high. So let's lower it. Like that. Cool. We now know we've got 3 strings in tune. We can play like the beginning of an E chord to confirm that. It's a little bit out, but guitars are sensitive, touchy things. You're always much better going with a tuner, but there's a thing called intonation on guitars, which I won't get into, where sometimes in some position they're a bit more in tune than in others, but let's persevere. 5th fret of the D string should be the same as the open G. Now we can hear that's... So we do it backwards with the open G first. We've got that little bit of jaws. So let's get the G and sharpen it until we feel that nice flat, no whoop 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 noise. Okay, it's getting there. 5th fret isn't a perfect way to tune because, yeah, the intonation's different to down here, but in the absence of a tuner, it's good. It's training your ear. Now this one, the G, is a bit different. The G, you go to the 4th fret, and it's the same note as the next B. So not the 5th fret, this one's the 4th. I can hear the jaws if I play the open B first. So let's... Cool. And lucky last, the E string will go to the 5th again of B. Like that. And I can hear that E. That open E is the beginning of jaws. Okay. What you'll find now is you might need to go through this twice and just fine tune it. We're not in tune at all. Let's see where we went wrong. Okay. They're not terrible, but let's see if we can get them better. I think that D's a little bit sharp. There we go, that's a bit better. So it's a finicky thing. Like, I was kind of probably going through it a bit quickly. You've got to really hear the notes, because if each one's out slightly across all of them, then when you play a chord, the whole thing gets pretty out. It accumulates all those slightly outs. So that is a way of tuning your guitar if you have to. Try and not forget your tuner, keep it in your guitar case. But yeah, you can go through and do it like this if you have to. And alternatively, and probably would have been a better method for getting it to be more in tune, tuning each string off the notes we know are in tune, off the strings we know are in tune on this guitar. Even better, a piano. An electric piano is going to be dead in tune. So getting the notes off that, even better. But hang on to your tuners, but you can use this method if you need to tune it by ear. It's good to practice anyway. I would suggest when using your electric tuners, close your eyes and no, that doesn't work because the tuner doesn't give off a note, does it? Go to something like the Fender website, which I put a link to in the description, and hit your string and hit theirs and try and really get used to hearing, is my string flat or is it sharp? And there's one way to find out. Turn it. If you think it's flat, tighten it. Is it getting better or is it getting worse? And then just train your ear that way to learn to tune the guitar by ear. Yeah, I hope that's been helpful, but certainly get yourself an electric tuner, because do not hold up your guitar progress trying to master the art of tuning by ear first. Your ear will naturally get better and better and better the more you play guitar, the longer you go. In fact, if I had to tune by ear now, I would probably actually just get a chord and fiddle like this until the chord was in, rather than using this 5th fret method. But that's kind of something you need to get a bit more experience to do. So that's tuning the guitar. Needed to happen. The next lesson we're going to learn something a lot more fun, but at least now your guitar will be in tune when you learn it.